The first food on my list was actually created for astronauts. And soldiers, too. Yes, for space missions and combat scenarios. No food was ever developed for the general public. Most people have completely switched off to the word superfood. Honestly, you have every right to feel that way. But here's what nobody talks about. The real superfoods with human evidence are not the ones you have heard about 1,000 times before. Today, I will give you 10 of them. Two of them are going to completely surprise you. The first one came from NASA research laboratories. The second one was debunked in the 1980s. Both now have real clinical human evidence behind them. Stay with me because this changes everything you thought. Here is the most important part of this entire video. The last food on this list is the most calorie dense, and I personally use it every single day. Ready? Let us get straight into number one. Number one is spirulina, and it surprises most people. Spirulina is a blue-green microscopic algae, basically. It grows in freshwater lakes around the world. Sounds like something you would scrape off a pond bottom, but NASA developed it as food for astronauts in space, and the military saw it as survival food for soldiers. Why? Because of how nutritionally dense it actually is. Around 60 to 70% of its dry weight is protein. That makes it one of the most protein-dense foods. Protein suppresses hunger through a specific gut hormone. It triggers peptide YY, which travels to your brain and tells your brain to stop looking for food. But spirulina does something even more interesting than protein. It contains phycocyanin, the pigment, giving it that blue color. Research suggests phycocyanin interferes with immune cells called macrophages. Those macrophages infiltrate your deep visceral belly fat. Visceral fat wraps around your organs, causing inflammation. That inflammation drives insulin resistance and slows your metabolism. When macrophages move into your fat, they create inflammation. That makes losing that fat progressively harder over time. Spirulina appears to interrupt that destructive cycle effectively. This is not just theory pulled from thin air. A meta-analysis of 17 randomized controlled trials found spirulina reduced body weight and body fat percentage. It also lowered BMI in overweight and obese adults. Let me be completely honest with you about this. Spirulina will not magically melt your body fat off, but this daily addition to a caloric deficit supports fat loss. It works at hormonal and cellular levels almost no other food does. Even most supplements cannot match this specific mechanism. Add 1 to 2 teaspoons of spirulina powder to a smoothie. Use a strong flavored fruit like mango or pineapple. That will mask the earthy taste quite effectively. Start with half a teaspoon if you are new to it. Build up gradually as your body gets used to it. Find spirulina powder or tablets at any pharmacy, or simply search for it on Amazon and get started. Hit the video with a gentle thumbs up if you like this. That tells me you enjoy this level of research. Now stay with me because food number 2 is wild. Most people stopped eating this 30 years ago. We were told it was completely debunked back then. Today, the research is telling us a completely different story. Number 2 is grapefruit, the breakfast fruit. Most people associate it with 80s fat diets. They assume the whole thing was marketing nonsense. And honestly, we all moved on from it completely. But here is what is actually happening beneath the surface. The early claims were wildly overstated back then. People said grapefruit had a magic fat-burning enzyme. That part was never scientifically proven to be true. Underneath that exaggeration, though, something real existed. Grapefruit contains a compound called naringenin. It is a flavonoid found in citrus fruits. Naringenin does something most foods simply cannot do. It activates two proteins called PPAR-alpha and PPAR-gamma. These act like master switches for fat storage. When those switches are turned on, your body changes. It leans towards using fat for energy instead of the default of storing it away. Naringenin also improves your insulin sensitivity significantly. Your body handles the storage hormone insulin more efficiently. Less glucose gets shuttled into your body as fat. Here is the part that surprises most people completely. A randomized placebo-controlled trial had participants eat grapefruit. They ate half a fresh grapefruit before each meal. They did this for 12 weeks consistently every day. The grapefruit group lost significantly more weight. They also improved their insulin resistance markers effectively. For people with metabolic syndrome, the effect was stronger. I have to be completely honest with you about this. Grapefruit interacts with a long list of medications. This tells you how powerful its biological effects are. It interacts with statins and blood pressure medications. It also interacts with certain blood-thinning medications. Check with your doctor before eating grapefruit regularly. If you take any of those prescription medications daily, have half a grapefruit as part of your breakfast. Pair it alongside your protein for a balanced meal. The naringenin is most concentrated in the white pith. Eat as much of that as you can stomach, not just the flesh, but the pith underneath. If bitterness is too much, add a tiny bit honey. Not sugar to keep the insulin response minimal. Number 3 is salmon for 3 separate reasons. The first reason is not what you are thinking. Yes, salmon contains omega-3 fatty acids. Your body cannot make those fats on its own. It can only get them from dietary sources. But here is why this matters for fat loss. Chronic low-level inflammation is an underrated barrier. It persists quietly over weeks and months without symptoms. It disrupts hormones that regulate your hunger levels. It blunts how well your body responds to insulin and signals your body to hold on to fat, instead of burning it for energy efficiently. Human studies consistently show omega-3's lower inflammatory markers. Those markers quietly store fat in your body. That is the first reason salmon made this list. The second reason is the protein content itself. A 100-gram serving gives 25 grams protein for roughly 200 calories, which is incredible. That protein triggers hunger-suppressing hormones effectively. It is going to keep you full for hours. Now, the third reason nobody talks about online. Nobody at all except me, your boy, Dr. Mike. And that reason is iodine for your thyroid. Salmon is one of the best dietary sources. Your thyroid is a small butterfly-shaped gland. It sits in your neck and sets your metabolic rate. Your thyroid cannot function without sufficient iodine. Many people in Western countries are quietly iodine deficient. A thyroid that lacks iodine makes less hormone. That hormone decides how fast you burn energy. One piece of salmon does all 3 things together. It reduces inflammation and gives you muscle-supporting protein. It suppresses hunger and feeds your thyroid gland. All of that turns your metabolism way up. Eat 2 to 3 servings of fatty fish per week. If you do not want salmon, choose mackerel. Sardines or herring are also excellent options. Choose wild salmon over farmed wherever possible. The omega-3 content is much higher in wild. Number 4 is green tea, baby. It has been on every superfood list for years, but almost nobody understands the specific reason why. It is not just antioxidants in some vague general sense. It is 2 compounds working together specifically. EGCG and caffeine are that powerful combination. EGCG is a plant compound called a catechin. It is found in high concentration in green tea leaves. On its own, it does very little. But paired together with caffeine, something amazing happens. It blocks the enzyme that breaks down noradrenaline. Listen closely to this next part. Noradrenaline is the signal molecule for fat burning. It tells your body to use fat as energy when you block the enzyme breaking that signal. The signal to release and burn fat stays on. It stays switched on for longer after drinking tea. Human studies link this combination to increased calorie burning and improved fat oxidation in real human subjects. Drink 2 to 3 cups of green tea daily. Ideally, have it before your training sessions. That maximizes the fat-burning effect during workouts. Brew it at around 80 degrees, not boiling water. Boiling water can damage the beneficial catechins. Number 5 is chili peppers. They contain a compound called capsaicin. That is what gives chili its signature heat. Capsaicin triggers receptors that respond to temperature rise. Your body thinks it is warming up internally. It responds by increasing thermogenesis, or heat production. That process burns more calories to produce heat. Here is the honest thing I must share. The calorie burning effect is actually quite small. Adding chili to meals burns maybe 50 extra calories. That is not dramatic at all, honestly. But capsaicin does something arguably even more useful. It can blunt your appetite significantly after eating. Human studies show eating chili reduces next meal intake. You simply eat less at the following meal. Add fresh or dried chili to as many meals as you can tolerate without being overwhelmed. Cayenne pepper is a more practical form to use. Half a teaspoon gives a meaningful dose without suffering. Let me know which food you are going to add. That tells me if I should make part 2. Number 6 is avocado, the creamy green fruit. Most people avoid it on diets because it is high in fat content. That is the wrong way to think. Avocado is high in monounsaturated fat, the same type found in olive oil. This fat behaves completely differently in your body. Unlike saturated fat from processed foods, it improves how well you respond to insulin. It lowers LDL cholesterol, the bad kind. That cholesterol is tied to arterial plaque buildup. There is controlled trial evidence supporting this. Swapping a daily avocado for refined carbs works. It shifts where your body stores fat. One research paper showed visceral fat reduction, specifically in women, which is significant. Avocado is one of the highest fiber fruits. A single one carries 10 to 13 grams. That slows down your digestion process. It stretches out your fullness signals. It feeds good gut bacteria, regulating hunger hormones. This is not a food to fear. It is a food that works for you, as long as it replaces refined carbs, not piled on top of them. Swap your refined carbs with half an avocado. Add it to toast with eggs in the morning. Number 7 is chia seeds, tiny but powerful. They are calorie-efficient satiety foods. 2 tablespoons run about 140 calories. That gives roughly 10 grams of fiber and 5 grams of protein as well. Most of that fiber is soluble fiber. It dissolves in water and forms a gel. When chia seeds hit liquid, they swell. They expand to around 12 times their original size. That gel sits in your digestive tract. It physically slows down everything digesting through. Glucose enters your bloodstream more gradually. Your stomach empties more slowly and steadily. You stay fuller for longer than low-fiber foods. Chia is a great plant source of omega-3s, the anti-inflammatory kind we discussed with salmon. Stir 2 tablespoons into Greek yogurt, or into your oats, or into a smoothie. Let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. The gel that forms is very satisfying. It will fill you up through the morning. Number 8 is cinnamon, the common spice, the most underrated food on this list. Most people think of cinnamon as just flavoring. They do not realize its metabolic power. Cinnamon contains an active compound called cinnamaldehyde. That compound is behind the smell and taste. Cinnamaldehyde improves your insulin sensitivity significantly. Remember, insulin decides where glucose goes after eating. When your body responds well to insulin, glucose heads to muscle for fuel, instead of being stored as fat. Cinnamon improves that response dramatically. More of what you eat fuels your muscle. Less of what you eat becomes stored fat. It also slows how fast your stomach empties. That flattens the glucose spike after heavy meals. Number 9 is ginger root, the spicy rhizome. Ginger has been used in traditional Asian medicine for literally thousands of years. Unlike some traditional remedies, there is human evidence. There is real science for ginger and fat loss. Ginger contains compounds called gingerols and shogaols. Those give ginger its sharp, spicy bite. They do 2 useful things in your body. First, they are thermogenic, or heat-producing. They raise your body temperature and energy expenditure, similar to capsaicin, which we discussed earlier. Second, they reduce chronic inflammation significantly. Chronic inflammation is a hormonal barrier. It directly prevents fat loss from happening. A meta-analysis of human trials found ginger reduced body weight and waist-to-hip ratio. It also reduced hip circumference in overweight individuals. That combination of thermogenesis and anti-inflammatory action gives ginger 2 mechanisms working together. That makes it more interesting than single-trick foods. Grate fresh ginger onto your meals directly. Add it to smoothies and to your teas. A thumb-sized piece grated into hot water. Add lemon for a simple morning drink. That delivers a real dose of gingerols. Ground ginger powder also works effectively. Half a teaspoon into your smoothie or oats. Now, before I go to food 10, I am considering making a full cooking video, including all these ingredients into complete meals. Let me know in the comments below. say Dr. Mike make the 5 superfood meal video. I will combine these into a cooking show. Number 10 is extra virgin olive oil. It is the most calorie dense on this list, 120 calories per tablespoon, putting this in a fat loss video. Sounds backwards, and I completely understand that, but it carries significant weight, pun intended. The compounds packed into olive oil matter. The main fat is called oleic acid. It is a monounsaturated fat. It improves your insulin resistance significantly. It switches on genes that promote fat burning. Your body gets better at using stored fuel. What sets extra virgin olive oil apart is a compound called oleocanthal. It is a natural anti-inflammatory compound. It works through the same enzyme pathway as ibuprofen. Chronic inflammation drags down fat loss hormonally. Anything that lowers it builds a better environment. I use extra virgin olive oil daily. It is my main cooking source and salad base. I add it to my sauces too. Not for dramatic fat burning effects, but because it replaces worse fat sources. It supports my metabolic environment over years. Replace refined vegetable oils with extra virgin. Use it as a base for dressings. Mix with lemon, garlic cloves, or vinegar. Buy cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil. It should come in a dark glass bottle. That protects the compound oleocanthal from light. Those are 10 foods with real evidence. Not miracles, but real science backing them. Not magic fat burners, just metabolic tools. They support fat loss at hormonal levels. They improve your metabolic health consistently. They help you achieve a caloric deficit. Comment Dr. Mike, make 5 superfood meals. If you want me to turn this into video, work with my team through the first link. Leave a gentle thumbs up if you enjoyed. Keep putting one foot in front of the other, especially when you do not feel like it. That is when it matters most. Right now, my name is Dr. Michael Diamonds. I am a medical doctor and scientist. I hold degrees in microbiology and biochemistry. I am also a pro-natural bodybuilder. I founded Sculpt by Science with my team. We have taken thousands of clients successfully. We reversed their blood biomarkers completely. We got them in the shape of their lives. Stick around because the last food matters. I use it every single day without fail. So let us get straight into it now. Number 1 surprised people the most. Spirulina was developed for astronauts in space, and for soldiers as survival food too. Around 60% of it is protein. That protein triggers peptide YY hormone release. It travels from your gut to your brain and tells your brain you are full. But spirulina does something beyond just protein. It contains phycocyanin, the blue-green pigment. Research shows phycocyanin interferes with macrophages. Those immune cells infiltrate your visceral fat. Visceral fat wraps around your organs deeply. It drives inflammation and insulin resistance. It even slows your metabolism down. When macrophages move into the fat, they kick off a cycle of inflammation. That makes losing fat progressively harder. Spirulina appears to interrupt that cycle effectively. A meta-analysis of 17 trials proved this. Spirulina reduced weight and body fat percentage. It lowered BMI in overweight adults. I must be honest about its effects. Spirulina will not melt fat off alone, but added to a caloric deficit, it helps. It supports fat loss at cellular levels. Almost no other food can do this. Even supplements cannot match this mechanism. Add 1 to 2 teaspoons to smoothies. Use mango or pineapple to mask taste. Start with half a teaspoon if new. Build up gradually over several days. Find it at pharmacies or health shops, or search for it on Amazon easily. If you enjoyed this hit, thumbs up. That tells me you love this research. Stay with me for number 2. Number 2 is grapefruit, the citrus fruit. Most people stopped eating it 30 years ago. We were told it was completely debunked, but new research tells a different story. Grapefruit contains naringenin, a powerful compound. It activates PPAR-alpha and PPAR-gamma. These are master switches for fat storage. When switched on, your body burns fat, instead of storing it as fat. Naringenin also improves insulin sensitivity. Your body handles insulin more efficiently. Less glucose becomes stored as fat. A placebo-controlled trial proved this. Participants ate half grapefruit before meals, for 12 weeks consistently every day. They lost significantly more weight. They improved their insulin resistance too. For metabolic syndrome, patients' effect was stronger. Grapefruit interacts with many medications. Check with your doctor before eating it. If you take statins or blood pressure drugs, or blood thinners of any kind, eat half a grapefruit at breakfast. Pair it with your protein source. Eat the white pith underneath the skin. That is where naringenin concentrates most. Add honey if bitterness is too much. Not sugar to keep insulin low. Number 3 is salmon, the fatty fish. It makes the list for 3 reasons. First, it contains omega-3 fatty acids. Your body cannot make these fats. You must get them from food. They reduce chronic inflammation significantly. Inflammation is a barrier to fat loss. It disrupts hunger-regulating hormones. It blunts insulin response in your body. It signals your body to hold fat. Omega-3s lower inflammatory markers consistently. Second reason is the protein content. 100 grams gives 25 grams protein, for roughly 200 calories total. That protein suppresses hunger effectively. It keeps you full for hours. Third reason nobody talks about. Iodine for your thyroid gland. Salmon is one of the best sources. Your thyroid sets your metabolic rate. It cannot function without adequate iodine. Many Westerners are iodine deficient quietly. A deficient thyroid makes less hormone. That hormone controls your energy burn. One piece of salmon does all 3. It reduces inflammation and feeds muscles. It suppresses hunger and supports thyroid. Eat 2 to 3 servings weekly. Choose wild salmon over farmed. Mackerel, sardines, or herring work too. Number 4 is green tea leaves. It appears on every superfood list. But nobody understands the real reason. It is not just about antioxidants vaguely. It is EGCG and caffeine together. EGCG is a catechin plant compound. On its own, it does very little. But with caffeine, it blocks an enzyme. That enzyme breaks down noradrenaline normally. Noradrenaline tells your body to burn fat. When you block the breaking enzyme, the fat-burning signal stays longer. Human studies confirm this combination works. It increases calorie burning and fat oxidation. Drink 2 to 3 cups daily. Have it before your training sessions. Brew at 80 degrees, not boiling. Boiling water damages the catechins. Number 5 is chili peppers. They contain capsaicin, the heat compound. Capsaicin triggers heat receptors in your body. Your body thinks it is warming up. It responds by burning more calories. The effect is small, about 50 calories, but capsaicin does something more useful. It blunts your appetite after meals. Studies show you eat less later. Add chili to as many meals. Cayenne pepper is a practical form. Half a teaspoon gives a meaningful dose. Comment which food you will add. That tells me to make part 2. Number 6 is avocado, the green fruit. Most people avoid it on diets because it is high in fat. That is the wrong approach entirely. Avocado has monounsaturated fat mostly, the same type found in olive oil. It improves your insulin response. It lowers LDL bad cholesterol. Controlled trials confirm its benefits. Swap refined carbs for avocado daily. It shifts where your body stores fat. One study showed visceral fat reduction. In women specifically, which is significant. Avocado has 10 to 13 grams fiber. That slows digestion and keeps you full. It feeds good gut bacteria too. This food works for you, as long as it replaces carbs, not added on top of them. Swap half an avocado for carbs. Add it to morning toast with eggs. Number 7 is chia seeds. 2 tablespoons have 140 calories. They give 10 grams of fiber and 5 grams of protein too. Most fiber is soluble fiber. It forms a gel in water. Chia seeds swell 12 times their size. That gel slows down digestion. Glucose enters blood more gradually. Your stomach empties more slowly. You stay full for longer. Chia has anti-inflammatory omega-3s. Stir 2 tablespoons into yogurt or into oats or smoothies. Let sit for 10 minutes. The gel is very satisfying. It fills you through morning. Number 8 is cinnamon spice. Most underrated food on this list. People think it is just flavoring, but it contains cinnamaldehyde compound. That improves your insulin sensitivity. When insulin works well, glucose fuels muscle. Instead of storing as fat, cinnamon slows stomach emptying too. It flattens glucose spikes after meals. Number 9 is ginger root. used in Asian medicine for thousands of years. Human evidence supports its benefits. Ginger contains gingerols and shogaols. These are thermogenic compounds. They raise your body temperature. They increase energy expenditure slightly. They also reduce chronic inflammation. Inflammation blocks fat loss hormonally. A meta-analysis showed ginger works. It reduced weight and waist ratio. Grate fresh ginger onto meals. Add to smoothies and teas. A thumb-sized piece in hot water. With lemon makes a morning drink. Ground ginger powder also works. Half a teaspoon into smoothies. Number 10, extra virgin olive oil. Most calorie-dense at 120 calories. Putting it in a fat loss video. Sounds completely backwards, honestly. But it carries significant metabolic weight. Oleic acid is the main fat. It improves insulin resistance significantly. It switches on fat-burning genes. Your body uses stored fat better. Oleocanthal is the special compound. It works like ibuprofen for inflammation. Chronic inflammation harms fat loss. Olive oil builds a better environment. I use it daily as cooking source, as salad base and in sauces. It replaces worse fat sources. Use cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil. Buy it in a dark bottle. Light damages the beneficial compounds. Those are 10 foods with science. Not miracles, just real evidence-based tools. They support hormonal and metabolic health. They help you achieve caloric deficit. Comment Dr. Mike make 5 meals. If you want a cooking video, work with my team link below. Leave a gentle thumbs up. Keep putting one foot forward, especially when you do not feel like it. That is when growth truly happens.